We're going to go over comments today, which the basic idea is we want to use this control / to toggle between a comment and not a comment. All right, so this is what our comments look like, where they start with an exclamation point, dash, dash, and dash, dash, and then the angle brackets. So because this is not a comment, it appears on this site. If I click on that line and do control, hold down control, and then do /, right, so we're doing control and /, that toggles between comment and not comment. So if I refresh, that top line now disappears because I commented it out. So control / again, refresh, now it's back. Okay, so this one, it's a comment, we don't see it. So I want you to click on this line, this H2, which this is comment this line out, comment this line out. So click on that line, control /, then when we refresh, that line is gone. Now sometimes when we're fiddling with our comments, we'll have this type of problem here, where all of this, we want these paragraphs to appear. So if you highlight that all and do control /, see how it commented it out? It gave each of them those exclamation point, dash, dash, etc. So what's going on here, let me control Z to undo. So what's going on is this comment here, that's supposed to be commented out, but we never ended the comment, right? So the dash, dash, greater than, we need to add that at the end. Dash, dash, greater than. Now, you'll see that color coding has changed. This is now code, so if I refresh, that appears. And then here, I've got the script for the validator, so I've got to control / that, save, refresh, and now when you hover over the bottom corner, you should get that validator button. So go ahead, click that, and we want to make sure we don't have any errors. So there's a couple errors here that we'd want to fix. The first one being, we always want to add our language attribute. And again, this is to help with screen readers so that it's accessible to people who are blind. So lang equals quote en, and then your title can't be empty. That's better. So if I go back to my output, oh, it's right here, save, go back here, refresh, all the errors are now gone. So on to the next. For this one, what if your mistake is in or affecting your button, and so it doesn't work? Well, then we're going to have to make one a different way. So here what we're doing is we're making a validator button. So instead of having it in the bottom right corner, we're making a hyperlink. So hyperlinks, we start with an A, and then we type the text that we want to appear. When I refresh, you'll see it just regular text. It doesn't look like a hyperlink. So we have to add in our href equals quote, and that's where we're going to paste in our URL. If you go to assignment and then click validator.w3.org, this is where we're going to be going, and the address we want to paste in is if we open in a new tab. So we're going to click this little button here. You might not be able to, there we go. So we're going to click that button to open the website in a, oh, that's not what we wanted. We've got to be on output first. And after we're on output, then we can click this. So it'll open it up in a new tab. So that whole thing, that's what we're copying. So we copy that, we go over to the markup, paste that, more options, and make sure this show source is clicked, and then check. And it should bring up this website. Right, and this should be your website that you're looking at. Once you've got that there, go up to the URL, copy that, Control-C. Then we're going to go back to our code, and where that href is, well, before we do the href, let's add our target attribute. So target equals quote underscore blank. And then I'm going to paste in all of that. So refresh, it's a link, I click the link, it takes me to my site where we can check for errors. So first of all, just so that we can be sure that we're at the right site, put your name, right? So I'm going to put Mr. J here. And then save, refresh. It wants the language attribute. So in my HTML start tag, lang equals quote en. Going to hit save, refresh. So it says I have a stray end tag. When you see the word stray, then something isn't where it's supposed to be, right? Just like if I've got a dog who's a stray, that dog is not at home. So this says for line 6, so we can scroll down. So here's our line 6. And so what it's saying is I can't be closing my head here. And the reason we can't close the head here is because we have visible content in the head, right? Validator page, that's visible, it's on the page. So that thing, if you hold the Alt key, down arrow, going to move that into the body. Hit save, refresh. Okay, so now it says end tag H2 is seen, but there were open elements. So here, we've got this is an H1 as a start tag and an H2 as an end tag. Start and end tags need to match. We already have an H1, so we're going to go ahead and make this an H2. Save, back, refresh. Now there's no errors. This shows me that it's your site because it's your name, not mine. And that's it for this validator page. For this third part, for the valid assignment, we've got all sorts of stuff here. So I'm going to make a little more room. And you're going to notice over here, I have this style.css. This has some different styling, right? We want background is pink, colors, right? We have all this stuff that we'll talk about how this works later. Right now, we want to use that as a way of making sure that, giving you a visual for that you've done it right. So step 1 in our assignment says, confirm the HTML skeleton is correct. So let's start by validating. Very first thing, attribute href is not allowed. And then down here it says href is allowed, right? So this is a spelling typo. So we're going to go in here, change href to href, save, refresh, and then now that this is correct, it actually works over here. So then we're going to go back to our code, refresh. It says head is missing the required instance of title, right? We always need a title, part of our skeleton. So I'm going to go ahead and add my title, Nancy. Save, go back here, refresh. Now we have a stray again. So hopefully you remember from the earlier, stray means not in the right spot. So if we scroll down to our code, clear down here at the bottom, very last line we have is the script. These should always be your last 2 lines, end body and HTML. Should always be the very last 2 lines. Everything else should either be in the head or in the body. So we're going to need to take all of this and move it up into the body. Okay, so we're going to highlight all that, Alt key, up arrow, boom, boom, boom. And then yours will probably do this. Let's see. It'll probably type that character instead, Control Z to undo. Then we're going to save, go back, refresh, add a language attribute. Okay, we've seen this several times. We're always going to see this, so get in the habit ling equal quote en. Save, back, refresh. All right, so we scroll down, no errors. Now we're going to go through and we're just going to follow the instructions in the comments to see what to do next. So I'm going to take this, scoot it all the way over to get it out of the way. And hopefully that gives me a little more room to see what's going on. All right. So step 1, pick your 6 favorite somethings, food, classes, friends, whatever. And then we're going to put those 6 in the largest, then the next with our headings, right? So we're going to start with an H1, and then do an H2, and then an H3, etc. All right, so I've got listed my H1 through H5. If I refresh, you'll see that I have different color codes for each of these, right? So here's some of my favorite chords. Right. So here's these chords. You're welcome. Moving on. So then make sure you have in your H6. And refresh that. So each of these is color-coded to be a different shade based off of what was in the style sheet. So if you open this up on the side, look at your style sheet. Here's where, and if you want, you can go through and fiddle with these colors. Just make sure that they're all distinct so that we can tell that you had different codes here, right? So next thing, add a horizontal rule below this comment. And that's just our HR. Comments, control to toggle. We want to go ahead and wrap the next line in the second largest heading tags. So that's going to be an H2. Go to the end. And then we'll move a little bit. Okay, so we refresh. So comments. Right, so then all of these, just follow along. Make sure the cursor's on this line, then toggle the text. Control / refresh, purple. Okay, so when you're done, there should be no red text. It should all be in different things. So I've wrapped all of this in one paragraph, right? So start tag, all the text, end tag, and when I refresh, it's wrapping. We want it forcing, so we've got to add our BRs for one thing. And that'll force it onto new lines, but it should be inside that same purple. Then we want to make bold, which is we use the word strong to make bold. So when I refresh, bold is bolded. For italics, we use EM for emphasis. Or it can be neither. Or technically it could be both. Okay, another horizontal rule, another HR. Wrap the next line in the second biggest heading, and I'm going to let you do that without me showing you. Unordered list. We've done this before, so if you need, go back to day 1, advanced control click. This, you should have done this before, and this should be set up with the correct way to do lists. If not, Red Cup, ask for help, we'll go from there. All right, so we've got unordered list, and then a bulleted list with at least 3 times inside, and it's up to you what it is. And then validator. So when you're done, this is what we should see, and the color coding is very important, so make sure that the color coding is exactly the same, and your text should be different. If you've got like these ordered lists here, unordered list, ordered list, make those different than mine. This can be the same, but whatever you do for this top piece and inside your lists, those should be unique to you. Once you're done, make sure you validate down in the corner, and it should give you the all clear sign. Once you've got all that done, call me over and we'll get it taken care of.